everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite way of making egusi soup. Egusi soup is one of the most popular Nigerian soup, and this particular method comes out so flavorful and you should try it. I know you would like to try this method, so keep watching till the end. To make this, I use some jumbo shrimps, stockfish, cow leg, cow skin, some beef, assorted meat, different type of assorted meat, then some goat meat, some seasoning cubes and salt to taste. I decided to grate the onions. It's a choice, you can slice or dice it, that's fine. In a pot, I added the beef, I added grated onions, salt, seasoning cubes, and I allowed this to boil in its own juice. Stir together and allow this to boil for 10 to 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you can be so sure that the flavor are infused in the meat already. So at this point, you can add water enough to cook the meat until very soft and tender. I did the same thing for the goat meat and assorted meat. I added the same seasoning and then I allowed it to cook in its own juice before adding extra water. You should do the same thing. You definitely want to skip using curry and thyme when you're making local dishes like egusi soup. So you want to skip that when you know you're going to be using the stock from the beef or from the goat meat to prepare egusi soup or any local food. So you want to skip that. Do not use curry or thyme. I added scotch bonnet just to add this extra flavor. Yeah, it's nice. Now to the main show of the day. To blend the egusi, that is the melon seed, I used yellow onions to blend the egusi, the melon seed, and then I used the red onion to blend with the pepper mix. So I don't want the red onion to change the color of the egusi. That's why I'm using the yellow onions. And for the pepper mix, I'm using 2 shepherd pepper and 1 bell pepper with some scotch bonnet. I'll go ahead to blend the melon seed with some yellow onions, just a bulb, and then I'll add water to it, blend it together to make a smooth paste, a very smooth paste. I am using the boiling method, not the frying method. And then I think one of the reasons why I like this method is that I get to wash the melon seed before using it. Once you have gotten a very smooth paste, turn it into a bowl just like this. You want to be sure your paste is very smooth, and then you adjust the consistency, not too runny and not too thick. When it is too runny, it's going to increase the cooking time, and when it is too thick, it burns so fast before forming lumps. So you want to be sure it's just in between. I added just little salt to this mixture to give it a taste of its own. So I added a little salt and half cube of Maggi. So stir that together until well combined. I went ahead to blend the pepper. I like the pepper not so smooth but not roughly blended. At this point, the goat meat, beef and assorted meat were well cooked and very soft. I grilled them inside the oven just to improve the taste. In a wide pan, add the mixture of the egusi paste into it and allow it to boil on a low or medium heat. You allow this to boil until the water or the moisture content is totally reduced. You want the water to be almost dried up, so you stir this continuously to prevent it from burning or sticking to the pot. Keep stirring at intervals, and this should take about 10 to 15 minutes to completely dry up. And this is what we have when it is dried up. To prepare the stew base, in a pot, add your palm oil to the pot, allow it heat for a few minutes, and then you add your chopped onions. Stir and allow to fry for like 2 to 3 minutes before you add the locust beans. You stir and allow this to fry for a few minutes. At this point, you're trying to infuse all the flavor into the palm oil, which improves the taste at the end of the day. And then what I do is I season this with a little bit of salt as well as a little bit of Maggi. And I didn't end up using this cube of Maggi that I'm holding. This was the last point of adding seasoning to the soup. I went ahead to add the stockfish to the seasoned palm oil so that the flavor goes into the stockfish and it is well flavored. I added the pre-boiled cow skin and then stir together to allow this cook very well. After 5 minutes, I went ahead to add the pepper mix into the mixture, and then I allowed this to fry for about 10 to 12 minutes on a low heat until it starts drying up. After 10 minutes, I added the protein. I know some people were actually thinking I'm going to use the old goat meat and the beef thigh, but no, just to answer your question, I'm just going to take a little out of it. I just prepped everything on this particular day. So I used a little bit of cow, that's beef. I used a little bit of goat meat, and then I used different type of assorted meat. I use beef tripe, I use beef omasum, that's shaki and aboti. I stirred that together and went ahead to add the cow leg into it. I covered and allowed this to boil very well. Later I added the jumbo shrimps just to take in some flavor as well. So I removed the head and then went in with the other part of the jumbo shrimps. So after adding all the protein, I went ahead to add the lumpy dehydrated egusi into the mixture. You want to stir until this is well combined with the stew, and then you allow this to cook very well. I added them a little bit of stock at this point because I don't like my egusi to dry. I used 3 different types of vegetable to make this particular egusi. Yeah, you can use any kind of vegetable, but I used frozen spinach, I used ugu leaf, and then I used bitter leaf. I think adding bitter leaf to your egusi takes it from 80 to 150 if I don't say so. Actually, if you add bitter leaf to your egusi soup, it gives it a totally different taste. So at the end of everything, I mixed it together, give it a good stir, and then I added just a teaspoon of crayfish powder. I stirred this together and then cover and allow to simmer for about 5 minutes, and this is what we have. Looks so good. So let me know in the comment section if you would love to try out this recipe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.